Okay, 3:30 Eastern here. Trade Ideas Live Q&A. Give everybody a moment. Let people start to pile in here. Make sure my audio's good. Video looks good. I think we're ready to rock and roll. Take two for me today. I was filling in for Steve earlier this afternoon on the noon Q&A, noon Eastern Q&A. You guys are stuck with me for round two here. Anybody that was there earlier in the day. So again, I'll give people a moment to pile on in here. And we'll get rolling with any questions that anybody has. Again, I always keep this, for the time being anyways, a live open forum. So what I mean by that is I like it when you are all asking the questions, driving the content, keeping me engaged, keeping things interesting. Of course, I will come up with, well, whatever I can to entertain and talk about the market, the software, so on and so forth. But the purpose of this and our Q&As is for you all to get the most out of the software as possible. Alrighty, so far crickets from our crowd here. So we'll start this one off. Some things that I was looking at, making comments earlier in the earlier Q&A, things that I was looking at. So jump back on a little bit of that here and continue to watch, what's extended. I don't know. You tell me, is that extended? I didn't take this, been watching this for a minute here. I couldn't time an entry that I wanted. And then, I've left it on my liked list, but it just wasn't going to run after it after this yesterday. You've got a topping tail that's here and this gap up, and we're extended pretty good off that moving average. And what do we do today? We gap up and just pretty much off to the races after we caught that 15-minute 8 EMA there. Gabber, welcome. How are you? Glad to have you here. So yeah, people say, looking for extended stocks. It was a discussion that we were having earlier, and it's just always funny how, everything comes back to being relative to what we're talking about, relative to the subject, relative to what we see, relative to our trading plans. And, for me, for my trading plan, that's super extended. And, I'm not much for one shorting stocks in general, but, looks like it could be a good short candidate. Well, could you imagine having gone short here yesterday? You'd be sitting up there feeling pretty uncomfortable today. So, extended. What's extended mean? Same deal here. LWLG, another one. Didn't get the entry I wanted yesterday, and just kind of the train has left the station without me, unfortunately. Kind of a bummer, but what can you do about it? Sometimes that's just the way the charts roll. And this is a stock that I really liked. It's got great liquidity over the last week or so. I mean, look at this, just really nice volume and picking up volume. So you got to love that. RSI's on the move. We're at a lifetime high. Even better today, more great data. Look at that options volume today. Just, really, really good stuff. But sometimes we just don't get our entry, and we just have to marvel at the work we did that paid us no money. And that's kind of how it goes once in a while. So while I ramble on here and I see the numbers go up and down for viewers, I always say I never know who's actually here and who's not here. It's an open live forum here, this Q&A for Trade Ideas software. So if you have questions about the software, whether you're a subscriber or you're thinking about subscribing, or if you somehow came across this stream and you have no idea what we are, ask the questions. Those who ask questions get them answered. If I can't answer it this moment here, I'm gonna get you answered through an email at some point. So just wondering, maybe you have some idea why my scanner's getting sluggish. Ah, yes, you made it. Perfect. Okay, so let's open that up here. Um, so let me, find that scan, loading it up. And we're going to troubleshoot you right here, hopefully get you an answer in real time. So let's load that scan. Okay, you sent me a chart, it looks like. That's what you sent me. So you want to take that scan that you're looking for, and do what I described before there, Gabber. So it's, look, the scan, whatever scan it is, right click. If I can hit the right buttons here. Right click, save or share to cloud. All right, and you're going to click save and share for the scan. And then you're going to send me that URL that's going to come up. All right, save and share. So there's going to be a URL here, because what you sent me was this chart. You did that for a chart. As far as the screeners go, your screeners are going to go with according to what they're looking for, and if stocks are meeting the criteria. I know that some users that are with in the 5.5s for our software have experienced some slowness with charts loading, meaning when you click on a symbol, it takes an extra second for the chart to load. But everything else should be real. Should be live and going. I'm going to look right now. You're on 5.5, and I see you updated a couple of days ago here on the 3rd. So if that happens to be your issue, there's really nothing we could do. It's 100% of our dev team's focus right now is figuring out why there are an isolated group of users that in the version of software 5.5 and up, that they have some slowness. When they click a link, it takes an extra second for the chart to loading. Like right now, mine's actually loading better than it's loaded in a while. I'm one of those people that seems to get affected once in a while. It also doesn't help that I'm running all kinds of software aside from Trade Ideas. So Gabber, if that's your issue, I can give you a link back to the last beta version of 4.4.234, something like that. That's all I can offer there. But your scan shouldn't experience anything whatsoever. Nobody is reporting anything like that forever with scans themselves. If your scan just isn't putting out alerts, there's just no stocks meeting that criteria of that scan. So let me know if it's a chart issue. Like I said, my solution to you is you'll have to uninstall 5.5.32, and then I'll give you a link to install the last beta version in the 4s. If it's a specific scan though, okay, so that's what we could do for you. Give me a second here. I'm going to find that link for you, and I see your question about any new feature updates on the horizon. I will get to that momentarily here. Sorry, just trying to find my way through all my goodies here. Okay, this is the last working official published beta version before we went to 5.5s. So you can use that there. There are times where if you go to click that, I'm going to load it because sometimes it does something a little funny here. So follow along with me here. Once in a while, this is what you should get when you click the link. Sometimes when people click this download link here, it doesn't work. So go to this download link here, and that will work. That should work every time. All right. But you have to uninstall. You have to uninstall first because it's smart technology in the sense that you can't install over the newest version with a previous version. You can only install over an older version with a newer version is the way it goes. So just, go to your control panel, uninstall, and then you can download this here from that link that I just shared with you. And that will be that. And yeah, sorry, I don't have a more positive answer as far as that goes. I know it's a bummer for some users not being able to update update the software in that sense. It's really where the dev team is at right now. The people that can work on those things, they're 100% focused there and nothing else. So for new features, nothing specific new coming. There's a lot of, aside from, yeah, I can send that to your email. Aside from the work that they're doing on the charts now, there's more to make sure that those get functioning a little better for everybody else. We're looking at some new features on the charts, getting the charts a little more up to speed, a little more, I want to say user friendly, but a little more up to speed with the rest of the world of charts. Yeah, you're very welcome, Gabber. Most people probably don't realize this, but Trade Ideas did not have charts for probably the first 10, 11, 12, 13 years. So charts are, well, I won't say a new addition. They were never what Trade Ideas was about. It was always about this here, scanning and the single stock window. And then they put in charts. And so they've always kind of been an afterthought, but now we work on the charts a little bit more than we have ever before. But so for right now, the only thing that's new here, and I see your question there, Renwick, I'll get to you in a second, is this real-time stock race if you were on the latest beta. So you have to be on 5.5.52 of the software. And you'll find that on our download page. Scroll past the production version. Make sure you please read the notes on the download page. There are always changes and updates with the software, and you don't want to be left in the dark with those changes and updates on the software. All right. But just these stock races here, I haven't really messed with them much. I have a bug. It seems to be unique to me for some odd reason. I'm not sure if it's a Windows setting, but when I'm trying to run these stock races, they're not running right for me. But this is what it is essentially. I'll go into a little bit more of them in a second here. But essentially, it's another way to look at data live. And you can pick what kind of column you want it to sort on. Do I want it by relative volume? And then the leaders will be, for that race would be your relative volume leader, change from close or change from open, shares traded today, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of metrics we can look at. We can look at things that are, breaking position and ranges on a longer term basis. So some creative ideas we're trying to come up with, and we'll have those embedded into, see how mine just all of a sudden appears out of nowhere halfway through the race. Just kind of odd how it does that. So anyways, that's why I'm on a beta version, a developmental beta version, and you guys are on what you're on. So that's it right now for main stuff that's there. Those are our main focuses at the moment here. I believe, can't hold me to anything, but once we kind of get some more things settled with this chart situation here, there'll be some attention turned to possibly some new filters going in for us. You are correct. The races were Dan. As far as I know, anyways, the races are totally Dan. So software for day trading, or can you use it for swing trading? So I personally am more of a swing trader. That's how I use the software. I use it in a very specified way for myself nowadays. I run very little during the day. I have a very curated list of stocks that I look at, Renwick. What I do is I do my scanning in the evening or early mornings before the market opens. I have some scans that I like to look at for charts to set up, setups in charts that I like, and then I put them on what I call a My Liked list. We have a function that's called My Liked, where I put a little heart on the chart, and then I can tell scans to only look at those specific stocks. And so I keep it as my kind of watch list here. And that's more or less how, it's a very short version of how I'm actually using the software personally. Barry, who runs our traders room during the day, he's strictly a day trader. He will swing an occasional stock here and there, but he's more, let's say he's 99% day trader. And then the rest of the support team that I work with that are traders, Sean McLaughlin, Andy Linloff, Steve Gomez, Michael Noss, they are all more swing traders, swing scalpers. What do I mean by swing scalp? Well, let's say, for example, something like you took a position in FGEN here today, and you see it starts to struggle around this level here. Maybe you're taking some off today right away and swing the rest going into tomorrow type of idea. We're trying to find setups that look, very similar to this FGEN. type of thing here. Um, and then we have Jamie Hodge, who does the Thursday support sessions at noon on this stream here. I think he's still more day trader based, but I think he's moved more into some swing trading over the last few years too. He's a very range break based trader. Intraday, he likes finding setups that making a nice high on the day and then maybe setting up in a range around that high of the day and then breaking it later. He's very big into those type of things. So there's no, when it comes to swing trading, Renwick, what I tell people is it's data interpretation. There's no scan that says, hey, I'm a swing trading scan. Hey, I'm a day trading scan. While some scans can be more tailored to day trading or swing trading, it starts to come to data interpretation. What do I mean by data interpretation? I'll go into details of that. Unfortunately, I'm a broken record with a lot of this. I use, my big go-to scan, and the one that I always bring up here, I call it my evening scan 1. I'm going to bring that over for you here. And this is a scan that I use when I'm scanning in the evening, one of the scans anyways. It's more of my go-to scan than anything else. It's where I find my swing ideas from. And I go through here and I find charts that interest me. Now, there's going to be charts that look like this that I'm not going to touch with your money. All right. And then there's going to be charts that look like, well, hopefully we can find one here. I'm not finding a great setup today from this. Might make light work of me today. All right, well, this was one that was on my evening scan back here, all right? And what do I see from this? Well, like I said, I'm looking at these daily charts, and I like to find stuff like this. I like these horseshoe ups, these kind of cup and handle plays right here. I always disclaimer I'm biased to this pattern, so I see it maybe even when it's not there, but it is what it is. It's my eye, not your eye. It's my account to trade, not yours, so on and so forth. And it becomes data interpretation. So this scan right here, all right, I shared this with a guy who runs a prop firm. And he said, I don't understand how you think that that's a swing scan. I see it more as a day trading scan, and he's looking at the stuff up here that's extended. And now, some of the stuff is here earlier in the day. I don't run the scan during the day. All right. So, he's like, I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me how that you see this as a day trading scan or as a swing scan. I said, okay, you're just interpreting the charts and the data that's on there. I happen to like to look at charts like this. I'm not going to trade those charts. Just isn't, part of my trading plan, and just kind of is what it is. That's all I can say. And so, you can do this with a lot of scans that are like this. So here's another scan that'll bring up. And now this is one that Jamie Hodge that I mentioned before, he does day trading with it. I will throw it up once in a while and find some swing trade ideas out of it. And so it's called Turbo Up Family, No Resistance. All right. And it's looking for stocks. It's 3 scans that are put into one. They're sectioned off by market cap. Everything else is the same. So it's looking for stocks that are doing a bit more than their normal volume, and they're making new all-time highs. And I like things that are going up. I like stocks going up. It doesn't mean it has to be at a new all-time high, but something that's, at or near a new all-time high with some volume and strength is exactly what I like to trade. And so, when you're making a new all-time high or you're close to new all-time highs, the sky's the limit. So here's an example, something that came through my evening scanner some days ago. This thing here, we're taking out new all-time highs again today. So that was the new all-time high before today. This beautiful pattern here within itself. And again, and doing me right today. I took a little bit out here, so there's my scalp, and I'm going to let the rest of this work. And that looks beautiful on a 15-minute chart with that green bar ignore. And so that idea came from this scan right here. All right, this scan is going to have similar things to it. Some are less liquid. So, for example, something like NVR, I'm never going to look at that, to be honest, other than as an example. Why am I never looking at that? It traded 29,000 shares today. Okay, and its relative volume is almost 3 times its normal volume. Aside from it's way out of my price range too. I'm not trading a $5,000 stock. But with that said, this chart pattern, I do happen to love that chart pattern. I mean, that's absolutely unbelievable. And I can guarantee you this stock, looking at the volumes here and here, if if that's something you do like, something you are into, that stock was coming through this scan right here. And if I didn't have a price cap on this scanner, the stock would have come through this scan, my scan too, right there too. So I had a strong chart. I mean, I'll tell you what, gotta look at that time and sales on that. Super curious now. We got to expand that time and sales window to even see it. Look, that's yeah. But you've got a $14 spread, but it's almost a $6,000 stock. So kind of is what it is. So Renwick, I hope you're here and that's answering your questions. It goes back to what I'll tell anybody: there's no magic scanner. If there is, the people that have created those magic scanners have absolutely kept them to themselves, and that's that. If it's a scanner that we have created in Trade Ideas, we'll share with you any scanner we have created. We cannot share scanners from private individuals. So if you see, Trader XYZ on YouTube that does not work for Trade Ideas, but is, talking about Trade Ideas and how they scan, they use it, and they have these great scanners, odds are they are, selling those settings for whatever reason. That's between them and anybody else, what they do with their settings. No, my pleasure, Renwick. So I don't know if you're, you're thinking about kicking the tires, if you are already a subscriber or anything like that. So, let us know, and we could shoot you a pricing link with a discount code off the first month or year if you're thinking of kicking the tires. I always tell people, do not rush into a subscription with us. If you're unsure, you're new to the market, you're new to trading, I do this every day at 3:30 Eastern. If you hang out here enough, you're bound to pick up some trading stuff, let alone some scanning stuff. This stream opens at 9 o'clock every day with Barry, who runs it as a trader's room for most of the day. You're bound to pick up a lot in here, so you can hit the ground running a little better if and when you just do decide to subscribe. So, all right, yeah, and if you want, some other videos and some little tidbits and whatnot, you can send us an email. Just send here. Goes for anybody, info@trade-ideas.com. And you can send an email, say, hey, Chris V, I was in the live Q&A with you. If you could just send me some of those educational materials you're talking about, the trading room login, some stuff like that, because we broadcast the trading room from two sides. So there's another side that has some more, that's a lot bigger with traders than this stream itself is too. So it's free to anybody, anytime. You don't need a subscription for any of that, Renwick. So I can, send you some stuff that's some education live and recorded, in addition to what you're seeing here, help you make a better informed decision. So I'm sorry, and we see can you build a Momo scanner based on relative volume? I sure can. And scanning for Bollinger Band earlier, forgot the email address too. So yeah, there's that email address there for you too, Bill. So you send that in, and like I said, any email that comes in, depending on what the email is and the request and things like that, sometimes we get back to you in 5 minutes. Sometimes we could get back to you in 5 days. It just depends on how complicated it is and how tied up everybody is. Some people are more specialized in some things than others. So back to the Momo scan question, or momentum, what is it? A momentum relative volume scan. So, all right, let's do that. Let's build one together. How great is it going to be? I don't know, but we can get a template going here. So we're going to go new alert window. All right. Now, whenever I start a new alert window or a topless window, it doesn't matter. I don't start from scratch. Chris, why don't you start from scratch? This is why. You need columns. So see all these things here, symbol, price, change from close, all those things like that. Those are columns. If you start from scratch, your scan won't have any of those. You got to add each individual one. I don't want to say I'm lazy, but I'm lazy. So I come to columns and I can see I've got stuff that's already in here that I want for columns. I don't feel like messing with all that stuff. I don't need some of these things in here. So I'm just going to go to the Windows specific filter. I'm just going to erase the values that are there already. So I can, that's my way of starting from scratch. All right. So I've erased the values that are in there. All right. Now I'm going to hide unused. There's some stuff that's going to stay there no matter what, based on different scans you've been recently loading or using, so on and so forth, or that have been popular throughout the clouds and shared. All right. And then we're going to come to selected alerts. I'm going to get rid of these used. And I've been using a different alert than new high. So you might say, well, what's an alert and what's a filter? An alert is an event. So if we come in here to search, these are events: new high, new low, new ask high. These pull back 75% from the highs. This check mark, inverted check mark. These are all events. So this has to happen at the same time these filters are satisfied. Okay, and it'll boom, time stamped alert. This stock did what you told me to look for at this exact moment. All right, so that's what that all means. All right. Sorry, just looking at some positions that I'm holding going into the last 5 minutes here. If I wanted to take something else off, and I'm going to ride it into tomorrow because the market's going to gap to a million tomorrow and crush all the short sellers. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so back to the building the scan. So we got to figure out what's the event that's going to trigger the alert. Okay. Uh, Most people are a fan of new highs, but sometimes the new high is the last new high of the day. So that is what it is. And I see the other questions coming in. We will circle back to them momentarily. So recently, what I've been using for an alert when I've been building some new scans is busting some resistance here. What is the one that I want? Crossed above resistance. All right. And I want the crossed above resistance, the not confirmed one, because I don't want the alert to be held back by anything else. The confirmed just means that when there's less volatility, you need a better, quote unquote, better confirmation of the cross that resistance. So we're going to add that for our alert for our event right there. All right. And then we're going to come back, and I think relative volume is always in here. So we don't have to search relative volumes in here. We can search if we want. There's relative volume, and relative volume is also an alert aside from the filter, but we're going to go with the filter for the relative volume on this exercise here. And so I'm going to click add filter, even though I know it's there already, and there it is. And now we have to say, well, what do we consider high relative volume? Is 1 times, 5 times, 100 times, 3 times? For the exercise of the scan, we're going to go with stocks that are trading at least 3 times their normal relative volume. Okay. So there we have the basis of the scan. Now, what are we looking for? We want a price range. So a lot of people that seem to want these kind of day trading scans, these momentum, relative volume scans, they don't mind looking at some lower price stocks. So let's go with $2 as the minimum on this here for this exercise. If anybody has ABD, if you have something that you'd rather have it as a minimum for that, go ahead and put that in the chat panel there, and we can make an adjustment there. So now we've got the beginnings of a scan, and we're looking for relative volume. We're looking for the beginnings of a scan. What else do we want to add here? What's some other stuff that we want to search? We've got a whole plethora of filters to go through here. So let's just look at filters. All right, so we've looked at price. We've got relative volume. Maybe let's see, not just some relative volume, but that 5-minute volume is really kicking up a notch here. So relative volume is done as a ratio, 3 being 3 times on a ratio scale our normal volume, and relative volume takes a 10-day average. Okay. 5-minute volume takes a 10-day average on a percent basis. So 100 means we're doing our normal 5-minute volume over 10 days on a 5-minute span. All right. 1,000 equals 10 times. So we want to see things are kicking. Let's go with 5 times. So we'll go with 500 here. All right. Let's come back and let's look at some more filters here. If there's anything else we want to throw in there. Perhaps, when we're looking for things like, momentum scans and scanning on the day, we don't want to jam ourselves up with any long-term filters. And what do I mean by that? Well, I wouldn't want an average true range filter in here, because what if the stock has only traded in an ATR of 10 cents over the last 14 days, and today is its day? Well, we're never going to see that stock then, because we have decided that we only want to see stocks that have had this historical range, ATR being 14, standard 14 period for us as like anybody else. What about inside bars on the 60-minute? I'm not sure on that. There might be something we can do, Renwick, on position and range filters and change filters. So we have a lot of those, and 60-minute time frames and 30-minute time frames. So I'm pretty sure we could find you something that you're looking for in that, Renwick. I just see that question that popped there. So. And then Pamela, I see that too. There is really no difference between Holly Neo and Holly Grail. The actual, what the strategies are is the difference, like any other strategy window that was created. The only other real difference is who created them and their inceptions. Holly Grail came in January of 2016. I believe Holly Neo and Holly 2.0 came online in May or June of 2018. And the people that architect those were different people. That's all. Holly 2.0 is really Holly Grail strategies, just with some slight tweaks to them on volume metrics, I believe. Holly Neo only has a few strategies. That's it. and it's looking at a lot of heavy relative volume and gaps is what Holly Neo is looking at. So it's looking at stocks that are trending, trying to find a trend anyways on the day. That's what Holly Neo is essentially. Um, and here, if you want further, what we provide to the public here, and I'm going to get back to this momentum scan in 1 second. I just wanted to hit those. You want a little further detail on Holly and her descriptions on those. You can find those right. If I could ever find my link. AI strategies. There we go. So for anybody here that wants a little more detail on Holly and her strategies, that's what you get. All right, so back to this. So, all right, where are we at? We've got a relative volume. We got a 5-minute volume. We got a low end of the price range, all right? Let's get rid of, well, we don't need to get rid of anything. We're trying to find momentum. Probably you want shorter time frame things. So maybe let's look at 1-minute candles. Let's add that filter. Let's just throw three consecutive 1-minute candles up in there. All right. I'm just doing this. This is just an exercise. I have no idea what this is going to return. And when I'm done with this, we can look at some history on it, and then I'm going to share it as a cloud link. All right. Sorry, I'm just really kind of cruising through here quick. I know. So if someone has ideas or thoughts or something jumps out at them, let me know in that questions panel, and we'll get that in here. What I'm trying to do is stay away from stuff that'll stop things that are having their day today. By institutions, insiders. I'm not seeing anything else that's really coming up for me. Let's go some distance from VWAP just for fun. All right, so distance from VWAP. Let's add that filter. All right, let's see. I want to see stocks that are, let's say -2. There's no more below that, and also no more than. So, I'm trying to catch stuff before it's, crazy extended. So right now that VWAP filter is going to tell me, show me stocks where the price is no more than 5% above the VWAP and the price is no more than 2% below the VWAP, or it can be right at the VWAP. All right. Add across above opening range. So do you want to use that as an alert? Because any of our opening range stuff is going to be an alert here. So we can change that. Well, what I had already picked was crossed above resistance, but I could swap that for the opening range if you want. The reason why I picked above resistance is, what if we have something that gapped down and is now making a move up on the day? That's why I had done that. Something that gapped way down and then maybe moved down for a while. And so its opening range is, just, as an example on a chart, although I don't have a great chart here up for it. If we were to let's pretend for a second that the daily chart's not a daily chart. Let's say we had something that, opened, trying to find a good example, opened here and moved down like this, now you've got your opening range break that's way up here, after maybe, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5-minute candles, and now it's going to come back up there. So you're not getting an alert till here, where maybe I want to get that alert here instead, down here. That's why I'd pick that. But we can swap that out. Let's swap that out. Your scan. So let's get rid of that. Let's come here. What kind of opening range break do we want? We want 1 minute. We want 5-minute, 2-minute. I'm gonna pick 5 unless you come in and edit that on me. All right. So back to the window specific filter. Standard deviation. We could do standard deviation. Excuse me. We could do standard deviation. I'm gonna skip it now. Sorry, messages here. Okay, sorry. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything important. All right, I'm going to leave this exactly the way it is for right now. All right, and we're going to click. We're going to give it a name. What do we want to call this? Breaking out relative volume. All right, make sure select alerts. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. All right, boom. We've got a scan. And based on what we just built on that scan, the last alert we had was at 11:40 this morning. That was LFST. And it alerted at 9:43, so it alerted right here and had nothing else for us after that, really. Well, that's an interesting chart. So let's come back into that configure. I'm going to swap this real quick for that crossed above resistance because I'm guessing you want to see a lot more than that on a day. There we go. All right, now let's look at today's history with this. And now let me get rid of that because we've done what we need with that. And not a lot of alerts, but let's take a look. GNR. Guns N' Roses. Oh, this chart bug really bothers me. Not much. Play. Nope, not going to be much here either. 34.95. Actually did make a nice move on the day overall, but it traded. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that had 140,000 shares traded to that point. So, yeah, that was a nice move. Coming off of earnings. Take a look at ALTT. Alerted 11:53. Another great alert from this one, looks like. Yep. Very nice. Now, these are early alerts. That's pretty early to jump in on anything, but people like to trade that way, and I'm never going to tell them what to do. I'm not a fan of jumping in on anything that early. FXIX that alerted at 19, made it all the way to 1974. That was a pretty solid alert, all things considered. IEZ, I think that's going to be an ETF now. Yeah. Interesting. No real alpha off that, but all the same, gave us our alert. Unify. So I alerted at 57.65. So I caught kind of the top end of this here. But as we full well know, we're going to have our winners and losers. We're just trying to find quality idea generation. Court, nope. 1792. I don't think you would have wanted to hold on 1790 through back all the way down here for that. Sorry, let me close Trader Workstation because this is just murdering me right now on top of everything else that's going on. All right, so 33.68. That's not bad. That was a pretty solid alert off of that. All right, so we got some pretty decent ideas that came through here. 57.25. We took the opposite side of Holly on this one. This is a stock I'd have stayed right away from. That was an absolutely fantastic alert that actually came through this, to be honest. But this thing was trading insane, like beyond insane. So that's an anomaly. While it's a holy cow alert. This one found it 4:30 and a beautiful run. A lot of time to get in this. This caught it early. Real nice alert right there. So looks like we got something decent to work with here, at least for today. Just gonna scan a few more of these here. So it's coming later in the day. 1075. Yeah. So 1075. This made a great move off that 1075. All right. It's a tough trader, but that's what you get when you want to trade stocks like this too. So LXP, boring old real estate, 1546. Nope, nothing there. So I'm curious now. All right, what's in here that's slowing us down? Maybe let's get rid of this distance from VWAP. Let's make it 2 consecutive candles. Let's see what happens if we do that. Now let's go with today. Yeah, it's giving us quite a bit more alerts. That was terrible. That did not help our cause here at all. So, but that's what happens when you loosen filters. That's a holy cow alert. Good Lord. And a beautiful range that you had after that alert. $8 off that, over $8 off that alert. Boy, did we come up with something good here? I have to back test this a little bit. Throw some volume filters on there. 823. So that was not a good alert. All right, so we're seeing some more quality alerts and less quality alerts, or less quality ideas coming through here. So we don't want warrants. VOE. So 4882. I kind of just hung around there for the rest of the day. Not really much on there to speak of. Interesting all the same though. DK. Yeah, time to back test. Interesting. Window specific filters. All right, we loosened that up. What if let me put that back to 3. Let's put this to 300. Let's even make this a -3. We're really messing around with this one here. Let's come back to history today. And it starts to become that fine line between, quality alerts and too many alerts. Bank of New York Mellon. Dare. So now we're finding some not as much here. All right. Looked a little better on the original version here, I think. Let's come back to configure. We'll come back to Windows specific filter, relative volume. It dropped at the 3, put that back up to 3. So I believe that's really what we were at for the original alert. So we're going to do that there. But one other thing I want to test now. I'm going to duplicate this, all right? Because that's with one alert event with those filters. Well, what does it look like with another alert? So let's bring this up. And remember, when we originally tried this with the range break, we weren't getting almost anything. So we'll come back to configure. And let's go with the good old new high alert. Let's press OK. Let's look at that. And let's look at the history today from it now. A lot of alerts coming in like that. But most of them are very similar to what we were already looking at also. So triple R. That was coming in earlier actually too. So we're going to get all the duplicates in here. There's no way to get rid of duplicates on history. So also going to be a lot of head fakes, especially for the early morning. But we take a look at a few of these anyways. That's a pretty solid alert off the open. Norwegian shippers were active today. Very nice. But what I like is when I see quality alerts coming in, 10, 15 minutes after the open. So that's why I'm kind of jumping up here a little bit faster. So let's see, CFLT. I caught that pretty nice. I caught that really nice, as a matter of fact. Azul is always a fun trader. 1413. Yeah, I had a little bit on it afterwards. Not bad, $14 stock. So CPB 4284. Nope, caught the top. Close enough to the top. MFA 471. Nope. Never really got you in any trouble, but wasn't anything special. So, all right, some interesting stuff here. I am going to first, I'll share this one. I'm going to come back into the configure. We're going to call it breaking out relative volume cross resistance. All right. And I'm going to save. I'm going to share this to the cloud. And now you guys can take it and do whatever you like with it. So that's one. All right. Let's get rid of that. And then I'm going to do this one too. Configure, breaking out, relative volume, new, high. So you got two versions of the same scan for the filters anyways. And there we go. And that is my magic trick. All right, so we got 417. So got 12 minutes and change before I do wrap it up for the day here. Sorry, just looking at some tickets that are coming in here for the email. Seeing what I'll have to dig into. All right, so how did we close on the SPY today? We closed up there again. So, really nice gap. This 15-minute chart. Really, it looks like the Fed took the SPY private almost, right? It's like a buyout on the SPY. We'll see what this all translates to tomorrow. 470 going to be that tough one again. Mental number, mental hurdle for everybody. So, all right, if you guys have more questions, please do fire those away for me. I'm sorry, just checking on a few other things that are here. All right. If there are no software questions at the moment, let's take a dive around the overall markets real fast here. So, SPY, if I remember correctly, last week there was a lot of top callers, and we were done, and the world was ending, and we were all going to die. Apparently, they were wrong again. Do we crash at some point? Obviously, because that's what the market does. It goes up and then it crashes. When is it going to do it? 5 years, 30 years, 5 weeks, 5 minutes? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Bottom line is we were pretty range bound. We're trying to pop back out of that range again. Chris, what do you mean by range bound? This is what I mean by range bound. That was not how far I wanted to zoom. That's a little better. One more tick. There we go. We came here, we moved up, a whoopsie down. We moved back into this range, a whoopsie down. We came back out of this range, we came right back into this range. We got out of this range, we came right back into this range. That's what I mean by range bound. You don't have to stay in the range the entire time to be range bound, okay? But since August, that's where we are. We popped back out of that range now. Is it likely we're going to take out all-time highs? I think so. Are we going to? I really don't know. But I put on some long positions again in the last few days after I kind of felt like you know 450 was it. So far, so good. We'll see what happens. Manage my risk, manage your risk. But for now, path of least resistance continues to be up over the long term. So that's your SPY, kind of tech heavy. What do I like to do next? I look at its stepbrother, stepsister, RSP. This is the exact same set of 500 stocks, only equally weighted, where the SPY is very heavily weighted into tech now, rivaling the NASDAQ at this point for tech heavy. Yeah, you're very welcome, ABD. And yeah, Russia, Ukraine, I guess there's something going on there. Again, I try really not to look at any news. I even open Twitter very little these days because it's just all a lot of doom and gloom. And I've begun to unfollow a lot of people on Twitter. I like them. They just aren't adding anything positive to my feed lately. So, I curate my stock list. I curate the content that I take in. I just can't have that. Anyways, RSP even more range bound than the SPY. We came range bound back here in April. We dropped right back into that range here again. So, range bound all this time. We broke the range. Whoops, right back down the range. And we broke the range. Whoops, right back down the range. And we broke the range. What does that mean? It means there's no clear edge in the market right now. That's for sure. RSP, I think also more likely than not, will take a shot at all-time highs here in the very near future. Does that mean it takes out all-time highs and keep going? No clue. Does it mean it takes all-time highs just like it did here and then move back down? No clue. Both seem very likely at this point to me. A lot of uncertainty with a lot of things going on at the end of the year. As they say, you don't make up a year in a month, so you better believe that all the big players that move markets and things like that, they're winding things down already outside of some major event that's going to happen. And believe me, if you think you're going to trade that major event like they do, you are sorely mistaken. That's not how the market works. You find your setups, you find your risk management in those setups, and then you trade your risk management in your plan. Right now, like I said, to me, risk seems to be, drifting to the higher side right now. For all we know, a major conflict does break out tomorrow. It could be Japan and Russia. It could be Russia and Ukraine. It could be MLS versus FIFA, for all I know. But my point being is, if you think you're smarter than the rest and you're going to predict that any things like that, you are going to find yourself wrong 9 times out of 10. You're better off at a casino and not at the stock market. Qs. Again, same thing here. Even more range bound. We took the range here. Really more the top of the range is there, I think, than here, but that's where I drew my lines for other purposes. And we came right up, tested here, all right? Bounced right off of it and came right back down in the range again. So range, until something happens, until there's a clear edge for that range to break. That's where we are. That's what we're looking at. So know that a lot of positions that you put in are going to be like that unless they're really just trading on their own for some reason. MDY. Again, we're looking at equal weighted items here. And the same thing. Here's the beginning of the range. All right. Couldn't get through it. Got through it. And we came right back down. And we came right back up again. All right. So range. That's the name of your game. Everything. Range. Oh yeah, no, I pick up what you're saying. Perfect circle. That's exactly it. There's something. Listen, there's 1,000 reasons for the market to go down every day. We haven't seen it for quite a long time. Exactly. Price pays. Give me one indicator. Price. That's all I need. Every other indicator lacks, including news. So, anyways, that's that. We got a couple of minutes here. As long as there's no software questions coming in. If someone has a software question, please ask it. If I don't have an immediate answer, I'm going to send you to the info email address and I'll get you an answer later via email, myself or someone else. If not, I'm going to just continue to do this real quick, a rundown on some sectors here. Looks like for whatever reason, we're back to buying EV type related stocks, lithium. I took a position in LTHM yesterday. I thought, oh, I top ticked it and it's not going to do what I thought. Today it seems to work out. I took a little bit off here and here again, and I'm going to ride the rest of that position for now. My risk reward plan is hoping that I'm continuing to get some of that. Got my stop, and that's it. That's all. I'll let that work. So seems like my bet was correct for the moment, as LIT really made some big moves again today. Big gap up and just kind of continued on that gap up all day long. Natural gas had a huge run, had a huge pullback, even bigger pullback than bigger run. Here's our big run. There's a real sharp pullback. All right. Return to the mean seems to be likely. Somewhere in this range, maybe. Months are going to get colder, or time is going to get colder over the months, and people got to heat their house with gas and so on and so forth. That's how we get energy still for 99% of the entire energy population. We'll see what it means. It could just as likely fall back down here again. I don't know. But that's what, natural gas on the year, it's a loser on the year. Lithium, winner on the year. All right. Pot stocks, I'm tired of bashing pot stocks. I don't even want to talk about pot stocks anymore. They just don't exist. Airlines, I'll leave it at this. The reason why, if anybody's new here, why I don't want to talk about these stocks is because it makes no sense to me whatsoever. You weren't allowed to do it. Now you're allowed to do it. Well, you're allowed to do it on our rules, but not our rules. Tax money. Now there's no tax money. Banks won't take our money. This person can do it in their backyard. This person can't do it in their backyard. There's just too much nonsense around it. I just don't get it. I don't think there's any money in it. As far as publicly traded companies, unless they decide to come out and say only these 5 companies are allowed to do this, and that's it, and everybody else can't do it anymore. And now you've got to do all your business with this stuff through those companies. So until something like that happens, until there's some real clear issue on what we're doing, states it's legal, federal it's illegal. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. That's all there is to it. Jets, you're going to be kind of handcuffed to rules and regulations, vaccines, and test here to go here and test there to go there. And then you got to quarantine this. And so, that's what happened with Jets, unfortunately, again. So a lot of uncertainty in that space, and, back to negative for the year. All right. Cloud computing, we're sitting right here. Oil, 2 tails on oil, whether it's exploration, looks bigger than your reserves and your holdings on the price. That's what your difference is here and here. All right. For USO and OIH. And we've seen a lot of these come back down in position range, come way off from what they were. Your biotechs on the IBB are still getting hit pretty hard here. Doesn't look like there's any relief on the way for them. But what's another bio that I was looking at here? Gee whiz, Chris. It's another bio that tells a completely different tale. That's not XLU though. I can't remember now. Materials. It eludes me at the moment. Not XLE, not IYAT, YE, Synergy. Forgive me. My mind is struggling to remember all these symbols. All right, but my point being, there's another bio in here that was positive on the year, so it's a real mixtape on bios. XBI, thank you. Where are you, XBI? You must be on this list somewhere. There we go. No, I swear there's a bio that I'm looking at that's positive on the year. Anyways, where that is, I don't remember anymore. So overall, those bios look terrible. Where are we going to find strength? Let's go find our strength now. All right, we're finding strength in the REITs department. Just continues to show more and more strength. All right, your REITs, they're boring stocks, but sometimes boring pays the bills. Yeah, XBI is negative on the year. There's a bio ETF that I was looking at today that was actually positive on the year that surprised me. I don't remember what it is though. But here's XBI and it's negative, very negative on the year. Where else are we finding strength on the year? All right, real estate, REITs. All right, more strength right there. Where else are we finding XHB, your home builders? All right, talked about this earlier today, talked about it yesterday. We're finding strength in those as well. Sorry, gotta log out of some software here. All right, where else are we finding some strength? Semiconductors continue to show massive amount of strength here on SOXX, SMH. All right, I can promise you anybody that's been short semiconductors over the last year are bankrupt. They are no longer trading. They are selling used tissues on the corner filled with their tears. Um, Energy still up on the year. Looks real good still overall energy sector. Is it curling down here? I don't know. This beautiful boom, curl and move back up again. That's my thoughts, to be quite honest. But I could be wrong. I'm going to manage my risk accordingly. I have no energy trades right now. I am looking at a few energy stocks, not getting any of them right now. Maybe tomorrow. Retail. All right. Retail continues to look really strong overall. We're range bound back here. All right. We popped out, we popped in. So this is reminding me a lot of those indexes we were looking at, the SPY, the NASDAQ, the RSP, so on and so forth. We know what season we're in and all that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see retail make a move back up towards 100. We can see it's still strong on the year right here, even with that pullback. And we're going to wrap it up with the XLF. That's your big financials, all right? Your XLF, your KBE, and your KRE for your regional banks, all right? So these are your big players, your regional players. They're still looking real strong overall. And so that's where your strength is overall in the market. That's what our leaders are. So, all right. So that's going to wrap it up for me today here. I appreciate everybody that came in here. Sorry, is it possible to go over strength alert window, or do we need to be within market hours? I'll hit you really quick on it there, Battalion Rob. This is the alert window. If that's what you're looking for on the strength alerts window, we could fly through a few of these tickers here. So it's like GT. This thing has been on and off my scans all year. This is one that I'm going to kick myself for. Slow and steady wins the race. I had GT pegged back here. And I said to myself, Chris, just take a small long position and then don't open it up for 3 months. And had I done that, I'd be feeling pretty good right now. But I didn't, and it is what it is. Hindsight being 2020. This had come through, I believe, this scan back here somewhere, and it's been coming through my evening scan a ton. Again, a GT Goodyear tire looks good to me overall. Am I saying buy it? No. I'm saying if you have interest in it, figure out a plan for it and trade that plan. If you don't have a plan for it, don't buy it. Nice pullback here after this run up. And I think setting up again going into the end of the year. Okay, so GT looks nice to me. PPSI, I know it's on here, but there's just like so much news and nonsense and noise. And could this thing go to 1 million? Absolutely. Could it come right back down here to $6? Absolutely. So I don't have any comments on charts like that. Have a plan and trade that plan. GSK, I am feeling this one big time right now, especially after today's price action on it. Chris, why are you feeling this one? Here's why. All right. I like it above this line. I like it to come right back up here. All right. Coming back up there. Pharmaceuticals and all that, they just look good. The big names look good overall. Pfizer, I know, got beat up. It was trade of the week this week, but again, news, you're at the mercy of news with some of these things where, oh, the vaccination doesn't work. Oh, the vaccine works. Oh, well, Moderna works better. Oh, well, Pfizer works better. GSK isn't in that space as much, so it has some other catalyst to it being strong here overall. So I like GSK. It looks like a nice ticker to keep an eye on. Love, we saw what that did today. had that alert window that we just built and made an $8 move off of that. Wouldn't go chasing it, but I'll say this. It has some massive interest in it and some heavy action going into the close again here. Close open, so some nice volume bars overall. Look, there's volume and then horseshoe up on the volume too. So maybe this is something we want to watch and see if it can build a base or maybe a little bit of a pullback into price action for taking a move up here. So I think love is worth noting, worth watching. UNFI, I feel like that's a quality name. Am I right? Yeah, that looks like a beautiful quality name. Got this gap up. We came right back down here, touched the opening range, and right back here again. That looks like a nice quality name. Again, Chris, why is it a nice quality name? Bigger the base, the bigger the boom. All right. That's what I see there. One more for fun. CRC. Don't be a garbage name for the last one. It's always good to go out on a high note. All right. Another one that I like overall here, looking at this chart right away. Massive move up, but we've held that massive move up. And we pulled back again, even deeper, and held that. All right. 47 is the high of its life. That's right here. We talked about energy is strong overall. This is energy. What are we looking at? Crude petroleum, natural gas. All right. So looks like another strong name to be looking at. Again, anything that I'm talking about here, I like the chart patterns. Am I running out and buying any one of these names? Probably not. Not one of them. All right. But there's some good looking charts in there. But if you don't have a trading plan for those charts, come up with one. That's all I can say. Attending things like this Q&A, Barry's trading room, the noon Q&A, those are where you can get some ideas about trading plans. You're eventually going to have to take it and make it your own. So, all right, that really is going to do it for me this time. I appreciate everybody coming in here. Strong trading community is what helps make this software go. I do this every single day at 3:30 Eastern. So please pop in here, come interact, ask questions, scanning charts, all the above are all topics that are fair game. Barry opens this at 9 o'clock every day. If you're not here, if you're able to get in there, if you're not able to get to me later, get to him earlier, there's something in between, for hours and hours throughout the entire trading day. So, all right. Thank you very much, everybody. You have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you back here tomorrow at 3:30. Bye-bye.